Hello everyone, it is Wednesday, and that means it's time for my Crack-A-Pack video. These videos are brought to you by the Ether Hub, which is both a YouTube channel that I submit some content to, and a gaming store. You can head over to the etherhubtcg.com to see that you can buy booster packs and stuff as well. And so we're going to open up this pack of Hour of Devastation and talk about what we pick. One thing I need to mention is that the winner of the August giveaway was Ronan Kelly. Send me your email. I will have already replied to your comment. Send me an email, though, at neatzonemagic@gmail.com with your address, and I will send you your cards as soon as possible. So, and in the comments below, you can enter to win this pack and the other ones that I open in September. This pack is especially stubborn. There it is. All right. So our first common is Avon Reed Stalker. Perfectly reasonable, playable. It's even a little better than I thought it would be in this format, mostly because there's lots of, there's the 2-1 guy, 3 mana 2-1 flyer who untaps stuff that you can just eat with this. There's also Aerial Guide, which you can eat with it. And those are two really strong cards in their respective colors that Avon Reed Stalker is good against. It's not a great card, as I said, but I play one of in a lot of blue decks, and I don't feel bad about it. Next, we have Mummy Paramount, a serviceable card. It gets to be good even if you're in a zombie deck, but you don't really want to be first picking it. Next, we have Frontline Devastator. 4 mana, 3/3 with a flick 2 and a nice ability to pump its power. It's also a perfectly reasonable card. I think I'm on Mummy Paramount right now, though. All right, now this is what I think I want to first pick so far, and that is Oasis Ritualist. It's a great card. Ramp decks are one of the most fun and most effective decks in this format. So are decks that can just play anything they want to. If you get 2 or 3 Oasis Ritualists, you can take whatever cards you want regardless of their color because your fixing is going to be so good. On top of that, this is a 4 mana 2/4, blocks a lot of things decently, and it works well with stuff like Ambuscade if you need it to. And just the fact that you can play a 7-drop in turn 5 with it is sometimes just backbreaking for your opponent. So we're on Oasis Ritualist right now. Next, we have Kenra Eternal, another 2 mana, 2/2 decent card like our Mummy Paramount. Paramount, I think, is a little better. This thing's fine. I'll play it in any deck. It gets to be a little better in a zombie deck, but it's not something you should go after early at all. Next, we have Carrion Screecher. I don't like this card a whole lot. I have to be really heavy into zombies to want to play it. The 1 toughness is a real liability in a format with -1/-1 counters. Dies to everything, and it costs 4 mana. So you can trade down with this a lot, and it hurts when your opponent just Magma Sprays your 4-drop. So that's the reason I don't like it. If I have a lot of zombie synergy, I think about running it for sure. But other than that, I would not. Next, we have Ruin Rat. This is a card I like a decent amount. I play it in most of my black decks. I would probably play like 3 or 4 copies if I could get them in most of my black decks, but it's not as good as Oasis Ritualist. The reason this is good is Death Touch creatures can trade with anything, and that's very nice. Where it gets really gross is in decks where you also have Ambuscades. I've had decks where I have 3 or 4 Ambuscades and a couple Ruin Rats, and that's pretty awesome. But it's good even without Ambuscades. Next, we have Granitic Titan, a decent card for the ramp deck, and it has cycling, and it's a 6 mana 5/4, but it's nothing special. You can pick up way better things for your ramp decks. Next, we have Desert of the Fervent. We have a desert in basically every one of these packs, but just in case you only watch one of these, I want you to know that these are good. I've been trying to get briefer with saying why they're good. These lands are good because there's lots of cards that care about deserts, and because they have cycling. I mean, that stuff is sort of, I'm just stating the obvious, but I don't think people always realize just how good cycling is on a land. Being able to cycle away a land when you draw it late that you don't need it is awesome. Plus, there's cards like Sand Strangler that make you want to run as many deserts as possible anyway. So these are huge upgrades over basic lands, basically. I would still take Oasis Ritualist over it, but that's the only card so far that I would take over this cycling desert. Next, we have Seer of the Last Tomorrow, mostly a sideboard card. I found myself sideboarding it in and having it being pretty decent against people who are running lots of X1s and 2/2s and 3/3s, and it can just sort of block them all day. I've never used the activated ability a single time, though. So it's really just about the 3 mana 1/4 body. That's the only reason I've ever played it. Okay, next we have Hashep Oasis. These deserts are also very good. Arguably better, I think, because they're also a desert payoff, right? So you can sacrifice deserts for an effect. In this case, you get +3/+3. I think it's close between Oasis Ritualist and Hashep Oasis, but I'm going to take the Ritualist over the Oasis. The Oasis is good, as I said, and right now only the Ritualist is better than the Oasis. But I think the Ritualist is just a lot better. It's sort of a way into making really good decks. It's fixing, it's ramping, it's just good. Next, we have Torment of Scarab. This card is basically only good in a hyper-aggressive deck where you've beat your opponent down so much by turn 4 that this decision is actually a hard one. If you're not a deck that's damaging your opponent rapidly, the decision's not a hard one. Your opponent will just lose 3 life and sort of not care about it. Okay, things are getting interesting in this pack. Our next uncommon... This is a decision I don't think I've had to make in a real draft, so I'm trying to think about it, but it's Burning Fist Minotaur. So Burning Fist Minotaur is quite good. It's a 2-mana, 2/1 with first strike, and it can pump itself. It's very difficult for your opponent to block, and it can hit really, really hard. Oasis Ritualist or Burning Fist Minotaur is the question here. And I don't think you'd be wrong to go either way. I think they're close to one another. But what I will say is my own preference and my own kind of game is more interested in Oasis Ritualist. I like grindier games of Limited. I like ramp decks. I like fixing that allows me to play whatever I want. Burning Fist Minotaur is one of the best 2-drops. It might be the best non-rare 2-drop in the format. It's just such a problem for people. It does die to basically all removal, and that's, it has to because it's a 2-drop, so it can't be incredibly good as a 2-drop. But right now, I'd say I'd take Oasis Ritualist over it. And our rare is not one we want to be first picking. It is Refuse to Cooperate. I don't hate this card, but I've never actually ended up playing it. I would play it in a blue-red deck if I ever saw it when I was drafting a blue-red deck, but I think people are taking it earlier than I'm willing to. I'm willing to take it like mid-pack. The Refuse half is just bad. I mean, yes, occasionally you'll sort of laugh at your opponent when you use it on Sandworm Convergence and just kill them outright, but it's just not good enough. It's so dependent on what your opponent's doing, and it really has no effect on the board. So if your opponent plays like a 3 or 4 mana thing and you're like, refuse, do some damage to you, it's not a big deal. Where this card catches up, though, is with Cooperate here, which allows you to copy instants or sorcery spells, and blue-red decks are all over that. If you could tell me I can spend 3 mana to make another copy of my Open Fire or my Puncturing Blow, I would do it all day long. So that's where the value is in the card, and it's solid in those blue-red decks. I still don't think it's first pickable just because you have to cast the Refuse half or find a way to discard it, I guess, to make it worth it. And the Refuse half is basically just a little bit of additional damage, a little bit of additional value, and what you really want here is Cooperate. But I wouldn't take it ahead of most of the cards we talked about in this pack. I wouldn't take it, just to give you an idea. Obviously, I would take Oasis Ritualist, Burning Fist Minotaur, Hash Up Oasis, and I would even take Desert of the Fervent over it. And then I would think about Refuse to Cooperate in this particular pack. But yes, in the end, I think I'm going to take Oasis Ritualist. I can see an argument for Burning Fist Minotaur, and maybe even for Hash Up Oasis to an extent. These cards are all pretty close in power. Let me know in the comments what you would first pick, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more Crack-A-Packs and a bunch of other limited content. Ixalan Limited Review Week is only a little while away. And don't forget to visit etherhubtcg.com. Thanks for watching.